love it. Yeah, it's true.
So he's actually read Ice Planet Barbarian, and one of my favorite he's only read the first book, but one of my favorite bits of feedback he gave me, I was asking him, like, where are you in the beginning of it? And he said, well, Georgie, the main character, keeps on talking about how she wants to suck the main guy's dick, which is great, but she won't do it. And it was driving him nuts, tantalizing, like just Ruby Dixon stringing my poor spouse along with, like, gosh darn it, give the man head.
Oh, Georgie.
I appreciate that feedback. I was not expecting that. So, but he has told me, like, he is really hoping for more female romance novels, because he's fascinated by the premise too, but also that's just his thing. So
yeah, we have some male monster romance, but I haven't seen female monster romance. Are there any
there is? I've got at least one or two that's on my to be read pile, my virtual one. But there is not a lot. I think just in general, the queer romance world, even in monster romance land, like, there is a lot of growth potential. But I feel the demand. I have no data to back this up, but I feel the demand. We're already, like, once again, like with monster romance, like, the sky's the friggin' limit. So don't let genitalia stop you.
Yes, I feel like we need to have non-binary. We need to have, like, anything, like genderqueer, sapphic, bi, ace, demisexual, like we have a whole spectrum to go.
Absolutely. If we can defy physics with double penetration with two penises, we can do anything.
Yes.
Which that's my empowering takeaway with monster romance.
This is so good. All right, so I'm a beginner. I've only read Ruby Dixon, the first couple of books in the series. I got hooked on them, but they're like crack, and I'm trying to not dive fully into them, because I know I'm not gonna read anything else but just Ruby Dixon, and so
which is so easy to do.
It's really easy to do because they're like crack. I remember reading the first book in the morning before going to work, because the book is short. There's problematic issues with that first book, but
for sure,
it's short. You can read it in like a couple hours, and you dive into it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I need to read more. So,
and there are 19 others.
Yes.
So, and that's just that series.
I was going to say, she has multiple worlds, because I did read another one where it was a mail order bride matchmaking something, she was like a human and she didn't know any better,
right? And it's all in the same universe too. That woman is the queen of universe building. Like, everything is connected. I love her little Facebook groups. Well, really, she's just got the one Facebook group. Sorry, I belong to a lot of Facebook groups. But anyway, like, they love talking about, like, this is where this series comes into play with that series. It's really fun, but it's true. There is more than just Ruby Dixon. She's got some wonderful contemporaries, even those that she works with on the outside. I would love to be a fly on the wall for some of these, like, I don't know if they have like chat rooms. Are they on a Discord? Is it WhatsApp? I don't know, but I want to be a part of it just to watch and be a creep. Because, like, it was one of my favorite authors did mention briefly in her own Discord, oh yeah, so I was talking to Ruby about this. I'm like, gosh darn it, I knew you corresponded. So Finley Fenn is a wonderful world builder too. So you were mentioning orcs. Yes. So she does the Orc Sworn series. It starts with Lady and the Orc, and it is really her main focus right now, the Orc Sworn series. It is, oh gosh, okay, so orcs, when we say orcs, what kind of orcs are we talking about? I think is a very good question. Are we talking about the Tolkien orcs? No, we are not. We're talking more like World of Warcraft-esque orcs, that are in some ways actually kind of elf-ish, which is interesting. They are like very large bad guy elves in some ways, like, and I find it very interesting that in her world there is like rumors of like, oh, the elves were around, but then like the orcs came. And it's fun being on her Discord. If you can get on her Discord, like, I highly recommend it, folks. It's like one of the coolest places. I lurk mostly because I'm just like, I love the vibe here. I just read the vibe. But like one of the prevailing like theories is that there's never been elves, there's only been orcs. So orcs are just elves by another name, which I think is really cool. And also the Tolkien fan in me is like, yes, because orcs were elves at one time in that universe. So it all works together. Anyway, it is the Orc Sword series is the sort of series that I recommend for folks that is not Ice Planet Barbarians. I made the comparison one time in my blog, and I will say it again. Ice Planet Barbarians, Ruby Dixon is like Jane Austen in the monster romance world. It is fluffy, it is cute. You will always like be skirting danger, but never fully in it. That's just how Ruby works. By comparison, Finley Fen is more like one of the Bronte sisters of the monster romance world. Shit's going to get serious. It's going to get dark. And so like if dark issues make you uncomfortable, Orc Sword is filled with a landmine of trigger warnings. So definitely do your research. Her website is wonderful in breaking down like, hey, this is going to talk about child abuse. This is going to have like off screen some very violent stuff happening. This is going to have some on-screen violent stuff happening. There's a lot of that. This is not even talking about the copious orc sperm everywhere. Oh my gosh. Like I'm over here like amazed that all of Orc Mountain doesn't have a dehydration problem because they are jizzing everywhere. But it's water soluble, thank God. That's canon, by the way. You know you have a lot of orc jizz everywhere when you have to confirm with the author in her Discord it's water soluble, right? So you got to be okay with that. So if you don't like fluids too, this is not for you. If exhibitionism makes you feel weird, not for you. If essentially like bisexual tendencies, because orcs only ever give birth to sons. So there are no lady orcs in this world. So it means that if you want a romantic interest as an orc growing up, you have to either like somehow woo a human female, which is very hard, or you're open to your fellow orcs. So there's a lot of that too. So you got to be like into all of these things. Thankfully I am. So
me too. It was great.
So
did they kidnap the human by any chance? Did they do some kidnapping? So
there is some kidnapping.
Okay,
it's interesting.
I love that.
yeah, it gets really cool. Like also if you're a current or former like Potterhead, this also appeals, I think, in an interesting way. So like Lady and the Orc is introduced in an interesting point of Orc Mountain's history. So like all Orc world is centered around Orc Mountain. That is the seat of where their captain, essentially their king equivalent, is at. And it's also where the 5 clans are as well. And the old captain just has just died before this book gets started, and there was some awful shit that happened. Like they put themselves on the brink of extinction, the orcs. They've been at constant war with humankind, and you've just got a lot of crazy shit that's been happening. And Lady and the Orc, the point of that is the new captain is trying to bring in a new era of prosperity, build back up the orc clans, bring the orc clans together. And he does start that with a good old kidnapping of a human lady.
Yes, I have to say, I did not realize I like kidnapping until I started reading mafia romance.
Oh, yeah.
And so
okay.
they
Yeah.
like to kidnap people like there's no tomorrow. And
Mhm.
like I don't know, for some reason, I don't know what it says about me. I've gone to therapy about this, but like captive thing, like I live for that shit, you know.
Okay. Then one of these clans you're going to particularly love, because there are 5 clans in this mountain,
Yeah.
and they all have their different ways of doing stuff. So you've got Ashkai. That's the one that all their leaders are from, of the mountain. And they're the schemers, they're the plotters, they're the politicians of the mountain. You've got Grisk. They really freaking love body jewelry. They are also the family oriented, and unsurprisingly the most populous of the orc clans, because frankly human women like them better because they're nicer.
And they got jewelry.
Right, and they have jewelry. They've got and it is very common to have pierced sticks in this. So yeah, if you are wondering, does this mean yes, it does. You've got the Batul clan. That is they're also known as the Horde. They're kind of like the army of Orc Mountain. They're also into gardening, which is fun. You've got Kaesh. They love BDSM and are the nerds of the mountain. And they're the ones that I relate to the most, frankly. If you've got the library and the dungeon. How fun. But then this clan you might like the most, Laura, is Clan Sky. And I think I'm pronouncing that right. SKAI. They're sort of like they are like the mafia of the mountain. So like they're the ones, their mating rituals involve hunting their mate, like straight up stalking them.
Oh my god, yes.
And then carrying them back, like, so
yes.
Everyone else is like more like proper wooing, but the Sky are over here like, oh no, we're going to hunt you. We're going to earn you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I think I can see the bridge. I see the gateway for me. Like this is where it's going to take me to Monster World.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've often thought to myself, like, actually this world would probably be a great video game, just because like you've got all these different clans, you know, choose your clan. And like, are you going to go lead a raid? Are you going to woo a woman? Or like, actually the women too, like the heroines that Finley creates are absolutely fascinating. She does a great job breaking down things like mental health illnesses, past abuse, trust issues, self-esteem. Oh my God, like she just handles them, I think, in kind of a fascinating artistic way. The woman does a really good, what's the word I'm looking for? Stream of consciousness narrative to really get into the head of the female main character. Lit nerd in me absolutely loves that. Loves it, especially because like I think back to my high school days, and like when I had to first learn about stream of consciousness narrative, it was through Virginia Woolf, which is depressing as hell.
Yes. Oh, no.
And there's a part of me that wishes high school me could have been like, look, stream of consciousness can be really well done and fun.
Yes, with monster decks, with double decks.
Yes, with I think teenage me would have been down. Like, really?